G'day, I'm Neil and my handle is Wiley11. I'm just going to put my disclaimer here. Whatever I do and say on these videos is well-intentioned and well-meaning advice. I accept no liabilities whatsoever for any disclosures. If you take some advice or act on something that I'm saying on these videos, you do so entirely at your own risk. I'm doing it based on my experience. These videos are my attempt to give back to YouTube for the help and assistance that YouTube has given me. So once again, you follow along or follow advice from these videos entirely at your own risk. Okay, and if you're not happy to do that, click this off and off you go. Because this is purely my attempt to give back to YouTube, as I said, for the help and advice that I have received out of YouTube. So this is just my little attempt to give back. If you're happy to follow along at your own risk, buckle up, sit in. Let's get into it. G'day, welcome back to part 5 of this printer build. Today we're going to address the issues with the control box. It came assembled from the manufacturer and I disassembled it and put it together correctly so that it actually is properly supported and properly seated inside its housing. Hang on, someone's just pulled up. Okay, I might have to break the video. I just want to encourage you to stick with this build. If you've come this far, well, you know, we've basically got to fix the issues with the supports. We've got to do the wiring issues, and we've got to fit the fuse box. And basically, the build is finished as far as the kit goes. But then the fuse box is my addition to the build. I've put that in, but I've also overcome the isolation switch issue, like the kill switch, by running it from a power board with a separate power supply in the power board. So that's very handy, and if I need it real quick, I can just reach across and whack the switch and everything turns off. There's no such switch fitted to the unit itself, and that's a problem. It needs to be in easy reach of things, so that you can very quickly kill the power if you notice something going horribly wrong, which has happened. Right, let's get on with this build. Today we're going to be looking at the control box, and I want you to support my company, nightglowmanufacturing.com, and so that I can continue to fund this process of putting these videos up and feed my family. So, you know, if you guys will go out and buy the end gems, great. I can keep moving forward. Thanks for watching, and let's buckle up and get into this. Had to swap devices for recording. I don't know how this is going to go, but we're going to try to get this to do what we want it to do. The light's terrible, whatever, I don't care. So what we're now going to do is we're going to strip this off. Grab the little knife. Tease the corner up and start stripping the paper off it. Alright, so we just stripped this paper off. No reason to rush it. Take your time, peel it all off. Once again, we'll chop this up into fine little bits before we put it in the bin. So if you're going to do the job, I think you've got to do the job right. Don't half do a job, you know. If they're going to put it together and assemble it, they should have done exactly that by doing it correctly, using all the bits. Now, we're not by any means home and hosed with this job. You know, we're a long way from finished, but the finish line's in sight, and it's a good feeling that we've overcome a few obstacles to get here. Now I've still got to swap that Z-axis around again. You know, it's just, I hate myself that I didn't take enough caution or enough care with that part of the job to realise that the wires were different lengths, you know, and if I'd taken a bit more time over it, I wouldn't need to be doing it again. This has started to tear in the wrong place, so I'm just going to come back at it through this corner here. It tore. Yeah, I'll just put that over with that light. And we're home and hosed. Right, so we're home and hosed there. All that stuff will get cut. Now, let's have a look. It only goes one way, I'm assuming. Right, you can't put it on backwards. It's impossible to put on backwards. That's how it goes. Now, because we didn't use a standoff in that middle one, right, nothing sat level. So what we need to do is we need to use a standoff. And we can form a standoff by using these with one of these in between. And I think I'm going to do exactly that. And I'm also going to use washers. So I'm going to need a couple more nuts and I'm going to need a couple more washers out of our hardware bag. I'm going to assume I've got enough for the job, but if I haven't, I'm going to go buy more because I can get M3. I might just buy a packet anyway because these are just M3. These aren't particularly good quality, right? There's nothing special about them. They are stainless, they're not gal, so that's not bad. And stainless is always going to last longer than gal, that's for sure. But the fact is, you know, the job needs to get done right. So let's go after it the right way. Now, I'm not going to touch that screen. I don't want to be mucking around with that for the moment. I'm just looking through this. As you can see, there's a gap, and the gap, it's not proud to the faceplate because of this plug and the mount point. So you need to have some kind of a standoff to keep this flush, right? And you need to do the same at the back. It needs to be stood off so that everything, that you can adjust the height and you can mount things flush. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to push this bolt through with a washer on that end, and I'm going to put a nut in the middle in here. Now what I've got to do when I do this is make sure that if I do it, I've got a no circuit area that I'm going to short something out behind. So let's do that for a start. Let's make sure we can even do this. And I'm just going to look on this board real quick. There's nothing on the back and there's nothing on that side of there. And it looks as though they've respected it here as well. I can't see any circuitry that's going to hit this. So I think we're going to be okay. Let's have a look. We got our nut. Come, we're out of shot. We're coming into the board. Just going to sit it there for a second. I might need a pair of needle nose pliers here, so I'm just going to let that come down. I'm going to go grab a set of needle nosed pliers. And now that I've started this process, I have to be consistent for the whole board. So every one of these is going to get a standoff nut in the same manner. So we come through from the front with our washer. Just going to lay that against that. for a sec. I'm going to hold our nut in situ with the needle nose pliers. I'm going to try to insert that in the middle of the thing. That seems to have gone the way I wanted it to go because it's screwing in. And I can hold that in situ with my needle nose pliers. Right, happy Jan. I've now got the basis by which to adjust things. Now, what I can do here screw that in. I want to adjust it to the top because at this end, right here, now I can put another washer on there and it has something against which to adjust. I'm just going to leave that loose for a second. Right, so that's not tight, that's loose. And I'm going to do the same at the bottom. So we're going to get a nut, a washer and a bolt. I'm going to come through, stand it up this way this time. No, it's a bit out of shot, but you'll get the idea, folks. Coming through from the front. Now this time I can come straight on. Should be able to hold that with my finger. Straight through that. And now I've got the means to keep everything level. See, I can push that down onto that bolt, onto that nut. Because I can push it onto that nut, I can keep that whole part absolutely level. And I can keep the screen absolutely level. So what we've got to do now is adjust that screen for level, see? Can't see much there, but where that screen sits, I can now see I can adjust it up and down based on where that nut goes. And then all I've got to do is tighten it off and it'll be stood proud to wherever it is. It won't move. Question. These bottom ones don't have a bottom board in them. So what I need is another washer in there, and I need to go both sides. This needs to become a standoff. So changing it again. I'm working it out as I'm trying to think about it, but I'm not quite there. I'm not quite home and hosed with my thinking, but I've got it right. In order to make this adjustable, you need this down near the acrylic, down here. So because you need it down there, you're going to need another washer on that side. I've got plenty of washers, I know that. I bought 100 of them. There's no way I'm going to use that. Now I'll put that on. Oh, you mongrel, get off that. Put that back on. I just love going over stuff I've already done. Put this on. Old meat fingers. This really doesn't want to play nice. Okay, you got needle nose pliers, use them. Right, using the needle nose pliers this time. I've had it. Right, so using my needle nose pliers, I'm just going to hold that onto that. Right, there they are. There's my nut. Wind that through that. So I'm a wanted man. This is really not playing nice. It is seriously not. Alright, you get the idea. Righto, so I think you can see where I'm going with this. I've got two nuts in there. One's gonna seat against this part here. It's gonna go proud or flush to this. Now I want another washer in there just to give it some extra support. Doesn't need to have one in here, really, but oh, goodness me. These things are really fighting me. I mean, really fighting. They don't want to do this. Maybe I should just take the hint and leave it alone. I don't know. Maybe this is the wrong thing to be doing. Right, now that'll go through the hole. Now we wind it on. I'm using a lot of hardware to get this mounted, but I want adjustability. I want to make sure that that screen is going to sit nice, like wherever I face it, it's all even. It's got a nice even flush. And then these buttons will also sit exactly even, right? And there won't be any play in that. So now all I need to finish this off is one there and one there. That's a lot of hardware on that to create that standoff position, but I think that's necessary. And I've got complete adjustability on that. Complete. I can move that to wherever that needs to be. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to wind this down. That's nearly flush. And you can see what I'm getting at. So I can stand that off exactly where it needs, so that that's exactly level. It's not going to move around once I block that off. And everything is stood off against everything else. I've got a little spanner that'll go on these, and I'll use it, and I'll just adjust that so that this screen will sit exactly flush. Now I'm just going to do wash, rinse and repeat for this side to make sure that these pieces are all put correctly in place. So we've got one to go in here, one to go in here, and one to go in up here. And we've got the same issue at this end, see? So wherever we call this done, that whole thing needs to sit level, right? So we're going to do the same thing up there. We're just going to use an intermediary nut to lock that board in situ. Washer, see, we get no micro fractures by using that washer. This thing's not focusing as well as the other thing focuses, but I've got no option. I can't keep stopping the build because the bloody camera runs out of battery. I've just run out of time. I'm just going to prop this up against there real quick. Grab the nut with my screw, with my pliers. Pop it in there. Come on, buddy. In you go. And of course it doesn't want to play either. This isn't the best workplace, right? I'm not where I normally work, so I don't have my handy helper and stuff like that around to hold things up, so I'm just propping things up against boxes and tripods and things, which isn't my normal way of doing things. But we want that to seat itself through there. I think I might have just got lucky with that, because that's going proud of that, so that's fine. And now we can just bring this home too. So what we'll do is we'll adjust these after we've got this all seated the way we want it. And I need my Phillips head, which I buried there. Just going to bring it all home. Now this is using way more hardware than the makers intended us to use, but I don't mind that. I'm actually okay with that. Now this one's going to have the same problem as the other one. This nut's in the wrong place, it needs to be against that. See that? That nut there, it's in the wrong place. It needs to be against the acrylic. So once again we've got to do the same as we did with that other one where we put two pieces in, because there's a standoff, so it needs to stand off where it's level. So that standoff point has to move. I guess I could pack it out with some washers. And then I'd have the same result as this. This is against the header of this thing. That header there is actually hard against the acrylic. I don't have that on this side. I don't have anything hard against the acrylic on this side. But I don't think I've got space in there for a nut. I think I've got space for a few washers, so I'll pack that with a couple of washers and we'll go from that. And then we'll wind that down on top. That's what we're going to do. So this has to come back out. Oh goodness me, not having a good day. And of course it's going to fall in and we're going to just tip it back out. So we're going to use a couple of washers to pack that against the acrylic. How many are we going to need? Probably two or three. I'm not going to be conservative there. I think I'm going to use 3 of them. And then I'm going to pack against the nut, against the back as well. So this should all have been thought through by the makers. I don't think it ever was. What I'm aiming to do is come up with enough packing to duplicate this header inside, the inside header there, against the acrylic. There's the top of the header, and all the solder points are underneath it. And they're just sitting
they're just sitting against the acrylic, right? Now down here I've got nuts. I've got nuts that I can adjust where the top sits and where the bottom sits so that it all goes the same point. So I've got 2 mount points for it, and that's all going to be good. So at this end, that's going to be too narrow to get a nut in, but I can put some washers in there to pack it, right? But I can put the nut still on the top. See how that's bent? These are coming together, so this has already been bent because of the way they packed it. So I'm going to have to push that proud and make sure it all sits where it's got to sit. Now the other thing about them bending it, I don't know if you can see it, is that some of the components down the guts of this thing are actually touching. So board 1 is touching the components on board 2, like the top. There's the top of a transistor that I can see in there. I can see through it. I don't know if you can. I don't know what you're able to see through. The components actually touch each other, and that's not good. They need to be stood off so that they don't touch each other. So I think I'm going to do this the way I've kind of planned it, which is, let's get this out of the road. I'll put these on one at a time. And I've decided I'm going to use 3. So I need to get 3 washers on there. Here we go. I'm going to play. It's gone down into the guts. Doesn't want to play. Where's that gone? Oh, it must have fallen, surely. No, it's definitely not down in the guts anymore. It must have fallen out. I didn't see it fall out. I'll check the footage and make sure that I didn't leave one there. Goodness me. Goodness me. What to do, what to do. Alright, let's go again. Push that in. Alright, I'll do it the hard way. There's one. Don't you even think of pushing out. There's 2. I'm going with 3. Do I need to go with 3? Yeah, I think I need to go with 3. Nearly home and hosed, 1 to go. I'm just moving things around so I can work a little bit easier. Right. There's number 3. Right, we've got our 3 washers in. Now, This is where it's going to get interesting, because we need to get a nut. I want to put a washer in the middle here and a nut. I didn't do that up there, all I did was put the nut in. But you see, this nut is going to be it's going to be at the bottom. I'm going to force it to the bottom, so I want to force the nut on and then force a washer on. Now let's do that. I'm going to force a nut in there. I'm engineering this as I go. Just got to make a decision here about how this is going to actually work. I think if I force a nut on and a washer in there, that'll actually hold that proud. Now if I force a washer in there, right there, and if this will play nice and just go through that now, I think I'll be exactly where I need to be. With that packed out, with washers, a nut and a washer and a nut. And we're in good place with this one. And what we'll do is we'll use that one as the settling point for the rest of them. Because I can already see that I've done the right thing with that. Now when you look at that, that's the one I've just driven home, and that screen is exactly flush. So now I can adjust this one. Yeah, I think I've got to pack 3 washers in behind this one as well. Well, I don't think I have to do it, I know I have to do it. Right up, so we're going to do that as well. We're engineering this as we're going. We're going to pack 3 washers in there, in that one as well, so that that will stand off correctly on the bottom as well. And then of course we use a nut and a washer in there. We do it exactly the same, we can't go wrong. So whenever you do something, you want to be consistent. this of course isn't going to play nice. Didn't play nice last time. So why should it play nice now? That fell out. I'm quite happy about the fact that it fell out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed that through, put a washer, put a washer, put a washer. Alright, I'm going to feed it through, put a washer, put a washer, put a washer, come through, put the nut, put a washer, come through, put a washer, put a nut. That's the plan. Let's get into it. I'll have to loosen this one off. Give ourselves some wiggle room. Let's loosen this one off as well, eh? So we've got a little bit of wiggle room here. Just need a little bit of wiggle room so we can get these washers in. So we're going to put 3 washers in there. I'm going to pack this out with 3 washers. Off camera again. So here we go. We're going to try to pack it out with 3 washers. We've got lots of washers. We've got a whole bunch of them. There they are. 1, 2, 3. Fell right out of the packet. Keen, volunteering for service. I'd like to see that. Right, washer number 1 going in. Nope, I dropped it. It's out. What I need to do is stand this off a little bit more. Just a touch more, come on. Just do what I need you to do, just for about 10 minutes, will you? I'm going to use this cable to help me stand this off. Don't want to damage that cable at all. What have I got here? Yeah, not wise. Chuck a screwdriver in there. Righto, come on through. Washer number 1 on. Come on, just like that, just get them on there. Don't drop them before you go on. Don't you dare fall out, you mongrel. Don't even think about falling out. That's 2 on. We got 2. We're going for the 3rd one. Wants to fall over and fall out. We're nearly home and hosed. 1 to go. And it fell out. Alright, I'm going off camera. I'm going to make this happen when I'm finished. Scathingly brilliant idea. Yoo-hoo glue. It's as old as Methuselah. I don't even know if it's going to work, but we'll see. 1. You sticky. To 2. He's stuck to him. He is. To 3. Sticky. The old yoo-hoo glue, mate. 1, 2, 3. There they are. Sticky. Stuck on. The old yoo-hoo glue. 1, 2, 3. In you go. Line them up. course, one doesn't want to play nice, but that's fine. We'll get him sorted later. Line them up, please. Go back there. Ah! Things are just not playing for me tonight. Things are just not playing the game. Now if I can just get them to sit where I need them to sit for 5 seconds with that little bit of Yoo-hoo glue. And push, and we're home. Honey, I'm home. We are home and hosed. Oh, we fell out. We fell out. Just stay there for a minute longer. Home. Home and hosed. Check it. The old Yoo-hoo glue has come to the rescue there. Right. Well, with the aid of our Yoo-hoo, that is now stood off correctly at the top, and we'll be able to line that screen up perfectly. Right, so now we need a nut and a washer in here, in this bit. So we're going after that. Here we go. Fall out of there. Nuts in. Force a washer in there. Come on, nearly home and hosed. Need to put this around where I can work with it. This simple job of rebuilding this has become something of a nightmare. It was supposed to be a simple job, but it wasn't, and we are home and hosed. We're through. We're through. We're home and hosed. Thank you, linesman. Thank you, ball boys. We're through. Now that's tight on that. That's tight on that. That's going to be tight on that and that. That was painful. I think I'm going to need some more of these. You know, these nuts. I think we're going to need more of them. But we'll see. We're going to run out before we finish the build, I think. But we won't preempt anything. So there's that, and there's that. That's the wrong screwdriver for the job. This is the right one. Alright, so that circuit board is in situ. And what I'll do is I'll adjust them up, front to back. There we go. I'm a wanted man. So yeah, that's sitting, it's sitting correctly. Now I've got one left to put through, and I'm going to have the same problem with this as I had with that one, where I need to put everything through correctly. So that one there needs to go against that one, this top one here. I need to adjust them so that that whole thing will sit proud and nice. Everything will be adjusted accordingly. And now my buttons are actually seated correctly. They're at the right height. So when you push a button, the whole board doesn't move, right? That's what we wanted. Now we've got another bolt to put in up the top here. Up here. Right? And they never put that bolt in. They never did that. And I want that done. I want that so that that's not going to break the board. Now I don't know why they didn't drill this one out at the back here either. They should have drilled that out. They should have put those in so that the standoffs are correct. That is in a much better position with that screen correctly mounted now. This has taken forever. Absolute bloody nightmare to get done. Right, I want to get this last one in and finished. We got some nice, it's nice and neat at the front now. You know, everything's nice and neat. And that's what you want. You want things to be neat. Righto, so we've got our last bizzo there. Now what did we do? We did a washer and a nut first. So we've got to get a washer in there. We might use our yoo-hoo trick. Going to glue the washer onto the nut with the big yoo-hoo. There's our washer. Our nut. Put a bit of yoo-hoo on there. Righto, so now that washer is sticking, see that? It's sticking. I'm just going to put that on that, and that's sticking nice. And now all of that I'm just going to put over the hole. There's probably a bit of yoo-hoo on that there still. Push it in over that hole. Get that in the right spot, please. Where's our nut? Where's our bolt? Sorry. Okay, I didn't quite have it in the right place. Ah, magnetic, you idiot. Don't want a magnetic one. This is not playing nice. Use those needle nose pliers to just situate that. Too far. You know that game you used to have where you had some ball bearings in a box and you had to tilt it round to where you wanted it? That's a lot like this. Jiggle him over a little bit. Look, he's just in the wrong spot. Oh, he just went a bit too far that way. He went too far that way. He's right next to the hole. Right next to where I want him. Close as. Drop the bolt. That's always a good thing. Right, now I think I've got him where I need him. He's right on it. All it's got to do is sit on the end of that until I get some pressure on it. Come on. I'm over it. Put some yoo-hoo on it. Put it exactly where it needs to go and leave it there. Alright, let's get a bit of yoo-hoo on that. Here's the end of that. Scrape up a bit of yoo-hoo. Put it on that. Well, it's got a bit of yoo-hoo on it now. It should stick. Where are we? We're there. We're in the wrong place for sure, but we're going to try. It's right over where I need it. Exactly right over where I need it. It was there. It was right there. Oh, gosh, this is a frustrating job. Alright, we're going to plan B. Plan B is we're going to butcher something in there. I've had enough. I haven't got the patience for this. You can see I've got the washer stuck to the nut beautifully. There it is, all stuck together. All I've got to do is get that to sit in there long enough for that to go in. And that's only part one, because then I've got to get part two in there. What I've got. Try them one at a time. Let's just get the washer in there first. Going after the washer. got it. Let's go after the nut. Dropped it. Dropped it. Got the washer on. Let's get the first nut on. Can't see. I'm going to use a bit of profanity offline and I'm going to try again. Okay, so the next part of this is to put these top pieces on. Alright, so there's a neck to it. I'll only go one way. And the holes have to come to the outside, I think. This side. Nope. Holes are to the back. It only goes on one way. Okay. Easier said than done. There is a curve, there is a receptacle here, holes to the front. This hole lines up. You can't see anything, can you? Turn the job around so you can see it. Turning the job around. Okay, so on the top, that's the orientation. There's a receptacle there and the hole for the rods. So the holes for the rods have to come out to the front. It only goes one way, that's it. So this one goes the opposite way. Now I'm not forcing anything. If you've got to force it, you're doing something wrong. But that said, this one doesn't want to go. When I say it doesn't want to go, it don't want to go big. Okay, it's in. Now what we got here is a screw there, a screw there, a screw there, and so we need 4. So we got 4 of these longer ones. So let's get out 4. And 4 nuts and 4 washers. 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got to find the nuts and we've got to find the washers. We're in the bag of hardware. You can't see what I'm doing. It's a bit boring, I suppose. 2, 3, 4. I have got coffee. Hey! For those of you who don't know, about 6 months ago, Mrs. Wiley managed to drop my favourite blue coffee cup on the floor and smash it. And since then I've been looking for a good coffee cup to replace it. Nothing even comes close. Like if the handle's the right meaty size that you can grab it, the sides of the cup are too thin. Or if the sides of the cup are nice and meaty and will keep your coffee hot, like this one, the handle's not, you know, like you can't get your hand in it. You can get 2 fingers in, maybe 3, but if you try to put your hand in that, you know, it's just not comfortable. It's not a comfortable coffee cup. Your favourite coffee cup becomes your favourite coffee cup for a reason. It's comfortable in your hand, it keeps your coffee hot. And you've got to have one. You've got to have one that works, because you start whinging about your coffee, life starts to take a downward turn, big time. Right, we got our 4 nuts, we got our 4 bolts, and we got our 4 washers. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the washers onto our bolts straight up, and we'll start with these front ones. We only need the Phillips head screwdriver, that's all we need. Now, don't use a power tool. Real quick, yesterday I started using the drill, and I heard crack. And I knew that the torque setting, even the lowest torque setting, the lowest speed setting on the drill, I didn't have enough control over that thing, that it tore right through everything and started to put micro fractures into the acrylic. So what we've got to do is we've got to situate the nut. I've got my finger at the back, my thing at the front. There's the nut situated. I don't know if you can see it, but it's in the hole. And we come through from the top and just get it going with the fingers. Everything finger tight for the start. That's started. Let's do another one on the other side. Same thing. Washer on the bolt. Now you want to work over your table, because if you drop one of these things, you're going to be hunting it, and you've got to go after them. Because I don't know how many we're given in the kit and how many you need, but I'm thinking you got just enough to do the job. Now you pinch that nut in with your fingers and you situate it. Now everything's just finger tight for the moment, not even tight, just so that it can't fall out, right? Now you've got 2 at the back as well. Alright, so we're going to do those 2 at the back. Washer on top. Doing this washer, I think, I'm so pleased that I went and bought these washers. Did not come in the kit, but for reasons as previously explained, I think I'm happy that I've gone and got them, because I think we're going to get a better quality of product. It should stop the micro fractures from spreading around the acrylic. Don't like something there. Ah, silly thing fell on its side. Isn't it always, there's always one, isn't there, guys? There's always one that wants to be a pain in the neck. I'm going to have to pull that out real quick. Let's put it back in again. Pinch it in with your fingers. So I'm actually pinching that with my fingers and just by hand screwing that down so that it's grabbed. See? Now that's in situ, it's not going to come out. And we're ready to use the screwdriver in a minute. When we've got all 4 of them ready to go, we'll go grab the tool and put it in. So I've just got this last one at this back point. Put the nut in first. Once again, I'm up over the table. If I drop it, I've got to go after it. Old meat, hand-fisted fingers. Pardon me. That's what happens when you gulp cold coffee down. Right, and now we just nip them up with the Phillips. You don't want to. You want to get it to the point where it's literally nipped up, like that, and then just give it a tweak. About a quarter of a turn once she's nipped up. And that's as solid as a rock. That's not going anywhere. So same over this side. That's the same torque on everything. So you just bring it right up, finger tight. Okay, so that's literally only just finger tight. It's already starting to be a bit solid, but what I'm going to do now is put a quarter turn on that, just like that. Quarter turn. And that is completely solid. That's not going anywhere. Happy, Jan? And that's the difference about using that washer. I can get that quarter turn without worrying about it fracturing the acrylic. Okay, that's the big difference because you've got a wider area. Now what we need to do is we need to situate this one at the back. I've got to go back to the instructions for this, so just give me a sec. I'm just going to go look at the picture, see where it goes. Because it's a cover that stops the rod from falling out, I think. Oh, okay, we've got the two pieces on the top. So we've got these two pieces on the top as well. So there's one up here and one up here. And it goes alright, well, we have to decide which of these rods is the Z. Let's have a look. That's definitely Y. So it's going to be this one. It's going to be the Z. So this is the middle size. And what I'm doing is I'm actually just going to slide that down so that we get it in situ. And that works. I'm out of sequence here. I just wanted to double check things. So these are definitely the Z rods. Okay, so you can see that rod there is going to go down and sit nicely. It sits against the chassis of the motor, and then that stops it from coming out. Alright, so what I want to do here, I'm going to use two washers. So this is a situation where we've got 2 bolts and 4 washers. I'm going to put one on the top and one on the bottom. But I'm not tightening these up, right? They're just going to be in situ because that rod has to come out again. I'll get 2 of those out. I did. Rightio, so the way this is going to work is we're going to put a washer on top of the bolt. We're going to put a bolt through there. We're going to put a bolt through there, and down here we're going to put a washer on top of the nut. Hold it in situ. And just use the Phillips to just bring it together. I'm going to get this out of my road for the moment, but they're definitely the Z axis. So this is going to be a bit tricky because you've got to hold that washer in situ over the end of the nut. So what I'm doing is I'm just holding that with my fingers and screwing that down so that it gets a couple of turns on it. Now I haven't tightened that, you can see that happily moves around. I'll do the same on the other side. If you're confused about what's going on, welcome to my world. I'm also a little bit confused. I'm taking these back out. I've identified the Z-axis stuff. That's it. This goes through the thingo, through the hole. I'm putting the nut and the washer together in my finger. and holding it with my fingers, just like that, just with the washer and nut aligned. And you're coming up underneath, down from the top, and you're screwing into that, hopefully. Yep, I dropped it. Now I've got to go after it. I've actually lost the washer, which isn't as critical, because I know I've got more washers than I need. I heard it go that way. This is the problem with small components. It's on here somewhere. Just got to find it. I heard it go squeaky, squeaky, squeaky. Here it is. Found it. Let's try that again. See how I'm holding that together? Just come up underneath. Righto, that's got it. And I'm not going tight, I'm just putting it in situ. That'll happily turn around till we need to bring it up. That'll cover the hole, the rod will slide in, cover the hole. Bob's your auntie. Used to have an auntie Bob, and an uncle Bob and an auntie Bob. Both sides of the family. Tools in the tools. Put this knife away before something gets cut in the tools. Back in a minute. See you. That's okay. We ran out of battery on the camera, but we've got to keep pushing forward. I'm just running out of time. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a continuity test on these switches. So what I'm going to do is set the multimeter to continuity test. Right, we're set to continuity, and we'll start with these two. That's good, because it's about 1/8 of an inch away. It still activates. Right, so that's working there, and what we do is we go down to the plug. I'm all a fuddle and muddle. Nope. Wrong plug. I'll all befuddled and muddled, he said. That one in there. So we're going to test these switches, and we're going to call it quits. Now, what I don't like is these little bits of plastic like that. I think that's heat shrink, and I'm going to find out in half a second, because I'm going to try to heat shrink that. Just give me a minute. Right, well, let's go. Nope, not heat shrink, plastic. Okay, not the ideal way to find out that it's not heat shrink, but it's not, it's plastic. And now it's got a hole in it. Rightio. So, what do we do now? Well, we got heat shrink. Here's some. I want some heat shrink over that. Easily. That easily goes over the back of it. 2, 4, 6 pieces. That long. That'll work for me. Let's just get 6 pieces of it out of that. See how we go. Chompy chomp. Rightio, let's give it a crack. That over that. Okay, heat shrink. Well and truly heat shrunk. Happier with a little bit of heat shrink there. Now let's go with the plastic over the top of everything. Alright, that's going to do beautiful. And we can force that plastic on. And now that's going to be beautifully locked in. Okay, so there's a solution. And back onto the... And then what we'll do is we'll double check continuity. Right. So we have a solution. Let's go with it. That one over that. See, it's little things like this. Go the extra mile, the extra yard, the extra mile. And you'll have something that lasts forever. Push it right down. There it is. Nicely done. Back onto the pin. Now this is just a signal wire, right? All that's doing is creating a circuit. You push the switch down, you got a circuit here. It doesn't matter which way that plug, like which way those wires go. It really does not matter. Okay, so retest continuity real quick at the bottom. You only needed to test it at the bottom. You didn't need to test the switch. But we did. We tested the switch. Just got to put them somewhere where they're going to stay, so we can test continuity at the bottom. So we're going to push that onto that. Set it for continuity. Alright, it should be there. Hang on. Right, now we're set for continuity. We just want those there. Just want you to stay there, please. Just stay. Stay. Get those out, maybe. Plan B. That took a long time. It really was not working out. What I'm going to do is put my caddy back where it belongs. Handy helper, handy holder. Back over there. Pull the work surface forwards a bit. And what we've got, alligator clips, 2 bits of wire, one on the white one, one on the other one. Now what do I do with my other bit of wire now? Let's get this bit of wire out of our road. Another bit of scrap wire around here somewhere. There's one there. Righto. We'll plug that into the other side like that. We got nothing. We got the right thing. Let's check that we got it on continuity. Continuity works. Push one in there. Come on. It's in. Push one in there. It's in.
hit the switch. Did we kill it? What did we kill? We killed something. Check the black wire first. You should have a sound. Check it. Right. So our close-up cameras let us down. It was the iPhone. It rapidly filled up, and I don't really know how to use it properly anyway, so I've probably got it on the wrong settings and whatnot. So I'm back on the PC camera real quick. I just wanted to double check this continuity. So I've got, as you can see, 2 bits of wire which will fit theoretically into the bizzo. It's set to continuity. Push the switch and we should get a noise. We're not getting a noise. Why aren't we getting a noise? Are we set to continuity? Check the... Yeah, we're set to continuity. Push it in here. Push the switch. We're not getting a noise. Now this is my problem, you know. My problem with all of this stuff is that these pins, they're no freaking good, right? These things. Because if you push a bit of wire down there, what you can do is you can unseat the pin out of the plug. And I think that's exactly what I've done by pushing this big bit of wire here down that plug. So I've unseated that pin. But if I push that thing, I should get continuity at the switch, which as you can see now is all heat shrinked up and all plastic over the top of. So that's actually the way I want it. But I don't like these plugs. Never did like them. The problem you've got, what you can end up with, is you can push them out when you push a bit of wire in. And I think that's exactly what's happened on this second pin, which I'm fiddling with. That second pin is actually pushed out. And what I'm now doing is I'm holding that in with my hand. I'm going to push this little bit of wire here. That should go nicely into the center. See, that's not setting it. I don't like this. I don't like it. I do not like it at all. So what I might do is I might chop that bloody thing off and put my own end on it. Now I've got some I've got some plugs that are rated for high temperature automotive use, which are way better than these things. The problem is I don't know what that's got to plug into. So if I change one, I've got to change them both. You can see how continuity works. If I put that in there, and I push that on there, I'm holding it actually on the pin. On the actual, how about we put it in from the back? Let's try that. Nope. We didn't kill our switch, I know that. The switch is still working. We got nothing. Nothing at all. What I'm going to do real quick is double check this switch. Got a wire in the yellow one. I'm just going to check the continuity of yellow. What have I done? Hang on, let's try this. Let's try this. Righto, so you see the beautiful thing? What I managed to do was swap the wires around on the pin. Here we go. So now if I come down here, push that in there. So what I did was I rotated that switch around when I plugged the wires on. Always double check. Diagnose it, get it right. That's the correct way to use it. So as you look at this, so they should all look like that. So I've got to go back over all the ones I did. I've done all three of them and make sure they look like this one. So I'm going to do that right quick. Yeah, so it's the two pins closest to the hinge, with the yellow one in the centre. Two pins closest to the hinge with the yellow one in the centre. Now they're all done. This is the one I started with, so he's nicely singed up. And this was the one I mucked up, which it now looks the correct way. So they're all correct. I'm going to double check them all anyway. And that's why you double check. That's exactly why you double check everything. Imagine if you put that on, you know, I put that like I put it to fix things up. Imagine if I chucked that into the unit and my failsafe doesn't work. Because these are failsafe switches. They're never supposed to activate. Got nothing. What's going on here? Continuity's not working. Oh, it's turned off. Turned off. Hang on, I've got to reset everything. Right, now I'll check that the unit works. Right, we're good. That in there, that in there. Switch works. Right, happy Jan, there's two checked. Check the third one, make sure it works. And when you're pushing wires into these pins, you run the risk of pushing them out, as I mentioned, so just don't push them too hard, just make sure they're going in easy. If they're not, don't force it. That wire should go straight through that, which it does, because there's nothing in that one. It should go easily into that pin. This has been a nightmare of a job, just testing this. There's my two wires, put them in there. One in, two in, they're in. Push the button. Right. Good to go. Right, let's put all this away and stop fiddling with it. I ended up going with the allocator clips with a couple of sharp wires in it. Who knows? Put everything away. Now we're going to stop this build and we're going to do a clean up because I'm sick of the mess. There's just mess everywhere. So we're going to do a clean up. We're going to get everything where it should be, and that'll give the camera battery a chance to charge up. So I'll end this now and we'll get on to the next part. So as you saw in that episode, we fixed the issues with the control box. We talked about my ethic in regards to waste disposal and specifically the stuff that's going into landfill. I stand by that. It's a little bit of extra effort to treat your garbage before you chuck it. And if you'll chop your paper up into fine bits and your plastics, there's no chance in the world that some turtle's going to come along and swallow whatever you've chucked into the landfill if it gets washed into the rivers. The reason is it'll pass right through the animal. It's only a small piece, and it's not like it's a huge thing that it's going to go up over the head, or you know, get stuck in the gullet of the animals. They can move through the gullet quite freely because they're only small pieces. And if everyone would take the time to do that a little bit, we wouldn't have this problem. We would not have this issue of all of, like, the plastic would still be floating around out there, but it'd only be very small pieces of plastic. And over time, barnacles would attach themselves and they'd all sink. You know, it all sinks to the bottom. If eventually it all ends up in the bottom, or if it goes on the shoreline, it gets integrated with the sand, and the sand covers it, and it's no skin off anyone's nose if you know, if it's only small bits. But you know, it's only a little bit of time. I'll stand by it. I'll you know, it's a good solution for stuff that really you've got no use for and you can't deal with yourself. Like, if you can reuse it, and if you can't, then you've got to dispose of it in a responsible manner. Alright, so I spoke about that in this episode. You saw me chopping stuff up and chucking it in the bin. You saw the results of me chopping the stuff up. It was only a couple of extra minutes. It's no skin off anyone's nose to do that. Now, the other thing is that I need you guys to buy my engine. I keep getting it out. I keep putting it back, and I keep getting it out. And being honest with you, this little device in itself takes a lot of stuff out of landfill. So you can see there's a lens there, and if I cover that lens and get it into enough shade, let me see if I can get this thing to work properly again. Got to get it in the dark and get it going. Too much light, it don't work. Cover it up as much as I can. Get it down here, it works fine. It never works, like, if I do it down here, oh, hang on, what's going on there? Is it working now? I think what's happened is I've managed to drop this on the floor a few times. There it is. So you can see it does glow in the dark. This is my prototype. It's been knocked out of it and dropped on the floor, but you can see it does work, it does glow. And if I take my finger off the lens, the light goes out. So it glows in the dark. The final products actually look like this. They got an aluminium PCB. They got a little switch on the side here. Oh, where is it? Little switch on the side. Aluminium PCB backed. I'm waiting on components to get the builds up and running at the moment as this goes to air, but by the time you see this, you'll probably be able to buy them online. So nightglobemanufacturing.com. If you can support me, you can take this stuff out of landfill, because this is all recycled material. The aluminium is recycled. The PCBs, the PLA is recycled plastic. This would otherwise have gone into landfill, and it's stuff that, you know, I've taken as recycled material and turned into a product that we can sell for sale. And what we do with the proceeds is we do a lot of outreach to kids. We go out to the schools and we teach engineering principles. I employ a couple of people. You know, we basically do our bit. We do good things, and we encourage you. Do good things, make good decisions, keep swinging. Like and subscribe to the channel. Like the video, share it, put your comments below. You know, like if there's something that you wanted to see more of, and there's a lot of footage I haven't put into these videos, so if you want to see more, comment below that what it is that you're looking for more, and it's quite possible I've got footage that I haven't put up because there's literally over 100 hours of footage of this build, and it didn't all go onto YouTube. There's a bloopers reel, so you can go through and look at that too, where I've struck and solved problems. So that's up there as well. Righto, keep swinging, folks. Don't ever give up on your dreams, and I'll catch you for part 6. All right, see ya.